user. We can copy the address, short descriptions, this follower, dynamic block for the following, the report. Okay, that's looking fine. Here we have the tab. You can see the state it's changing. We have this component. We can switch to different components, follower, following. All of you, hope you guys are great and welcome back to this complete NFT marketplace project video. In the last video we had built our NFT collection page. So these are the components we have built in the last video. I've explained everything. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll link in the I button or in the description so you guys can follow. So we had built all these components in the previous video, so make sure you watch that. Then it will make sense when we build the other pages. Like the page we're going to build in this video is the creator page, or you can call it author page. Okay, so that's what we're going to build. Let me give you a quick overview that what we had done in the last video. So everything's working absolutely fine. You can see we had built this entire component. Let's come back to the code editor and make sure you do that. Open the project which we are working on, and you know the drill. What we have to do, come here, go to the pages, and we have to create the page. For this we'll call it author.js and we'll type RAFCE. Okay, React functional based component. And here we're going to import a couple of things from React, use state, and we need to import use effect. Let's come down, let's do the internal import. And actually we don't have any file for doing the internal import, so what we can do, we'll do this import and we'll type this style and from, but we don't have that from. So let's come here, go to this style folder, and let's create the CSS file for that. So we'll call it author.module.css. okay, this is what we have to import here. So we have got our CSS file. Now let's do the import. We have to import the components, the banner component that's coming from the collection banner, okay, which we have already created in our collection in the previous video. Okay, so make sure you watch that. Okay, and we are using that component here in this author page. So we have this banner component. We have to import the like this two. Okay, author profile card and author tab. We actually don't have this. We're going to create these folder and these components. So I'm just writing down here so I can remember that what I have to create. Okay, so these are the components we have to create. Let's comment out this for a time being, and we have to import the NFT card too. We have already created in the collection page, so we're going to import it from there. And let's come here and we have to import the, let's say, brand and title, and that's coming from the component index. Okay, so these are the component we are importing here. Let's uncomment this and let's type tabs. Okay, so these are the components we're going to create right this moment: author profile card, author tab, and this will call tab card. Okay, and that's coming, and that's actually we don't have the directory, we have to create it. Okay, so let's come here and we have to create that folder in the main directory. Okay, so we'll create a folder and we'll call it author page. Okay, so I'm giving this relevant name so you guys can easily able to identify that which page we are actually working on. So we had work on the collection page, so that's why you can be able to find that there is a folder called collection page. Okay, so if you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch that, then it will make sense. Okay, and that we're going to create a couple of folders. So in this author page we need to create a folder. So the first folder we'll create by the name, let's call it what should we call, we'll call it author profile card. Okay, this is the folder we create, and inside that we have to create a JSX file, and we have to type this. Come here, we have to create the CSS file for that as well, module.css. So here we have the CSS file. Now we come back to the author page and we have to create one more folder. So click on that and we have to call it author, let's call it tabs. Okay, copy that and create the JSX file. So AuthorTab.modules, let's create a CSS file, and then we have to create the JSX file for that. So author.jsx, simply type RAFC and close all this one. So here we have these two folders, two component actually, and that's what we have here imported. Okay, so let's come here and let's remove that one. And now what we can do, let's bring it down and type import images, and that's coming from image folder. And let's remove this one and let's start working on the JSX. Okay, so we're going to take a, let's take a demo array, popular array, and in that we're going to take the images of the user. So let's take the images. okay, because we're going to display the image in the follower component. Okay, so altogether we have 5 tabs, and in 2 tabs we are displaying the follower details. Okay, so this is the images of the user. Let's change this one: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so these are the data we have. Now let's come down. We'll take a use state and we'll call it collectibles. Okay, this is the first tab we have. Initially it would be true, so when someone initially visit this page, the collectible tab would be open. Okay, now we have to take another one. This will call created. Initially it will false. We have to take another one like false, and we have to take one more. This is called follower, false, and there is one following, and this is false. So these are the 5 use state we have taken. 5 use state. Now let's come down, and we're going to take a div. It will have a class called style, and we'll call it, let's say, what should we call, banner. And okay, inside that we'll take another div, not a div, we're going to actually use the banner component we have created. Okay, and in this we're going to send the props, because it's a reusable component, so we have to send the props. So in this we're going to send the image actually. So the image I want to send is, so that's the author we have here. Let's come back here and let's change this URL, type /author, and let's hit enter and just wait. And here you can see, I think we don't have any image by the name author. Okay, so that's why you can see this broken. So what we can do now, let's come back here, and here I'm going to replace this with background. Okay, and here you can see we have the images. Okay, it's looking absolutely good. I want to use different images, so let's find the image we have in the design. So this is the image we have in the design. Okay, it's looking really good. So we have that. Let's come here and go to this author profile card and close all this, and we have to create one more file in which we're going to import all the component we're going to create in this author page. Okay, so let's call it component index, and in this we're going to import the components. We'll import the author profile card, and that's coming from the same directory, and we have to import the author tab. Okay, and that's also coming from the same directory inside the author folder, author tabs. And now we have to export that, so we'll type export, and in that we're going to pass this. Okay, we are remove this bracket with this and with this. So here we are exporting those components. Simply close that one, and let's come back here, and now we can uncomment this and we can call that. So it's coming from author page component index. Okay, in that way we can easily able to access all these component. Okay, so that's what we have. Simply copy and paste here, and so that's the component we have here, and here you can see the component is displaying. And now we can start working on the card component. So let's come back here and let's go to this author profile card, and let's start working on this component. So what we can do, let's first import couple of things from React, use state, and we have to import the image. We have to import the icons, so MD verified, and that's coming from icons MD. And we have to import the cloud upload, and we have to import the MD outline, let's say report problem. Okay, so these are the icons which is coming from MD React icons, and we have to import one more. This is going to be icon copy, and that's coming from React icon /fi. We have to import the icon, so it will be TI social Facebook, and that's coming from TI. And that we're going to take the, let's say we have the Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, we have Twitter, Instagram. Okay, so these are the 4 icon we are using. Let's come down. We have to import the BS3 dot. Okay, and this coming from the React icons /BS. These are the icons we have. Now let's come down. We have to do the internal import, so we have to import the CSS file that's coming from the same directory, and now we have to import the images. Okay, we have the images. So this is the internal import. Now let's import the button component, and that's coming from the component /component index. Okay, so let's remove that, and we want to import it from component index. Okay, so it's coming from component index. Okay, now let's come down here, and in this we're going to take the use state. This will call share. Initially it will be false. We'll take another one. This will call report. This will be false. That's all the import, internal external import. Now let's remove that and let's start working on the GSS. We'll have a div, it will have a class called style dot, we'll call it author profile card, and in that we're going to have another div, it will have a class called author profile box. We'll have a div, it will have a class called style author profile box dash image. In that we're going to have the image, so we have the source, inside that we have the images, and we're going to use this NFT image one. We'll take the class, it will have the author profile card box image, and it will have the alt tag which is called NFT image. It will have the width 220 and will have the height 220. So this is the image property. Now let's come down. We'll have a div, it will have a class called style dot NFT box info, and we'll tag the h2. Let's come here and go to the original one, simply copy the name, and let's come back and paste here. And inside that we're going to take a space and we're going to take a span, and in this we're going to use the icon md verified. So this is the h2. Let's come down, we'll take another div, it will have a class called author box info. This will call address, and that will have a input tag, and it will have the type to text. It will have the value to the address, simply copy and paste here, and it will have the id, we'll call my id, okay, my input. And let's come down, we're going to take a icon fi copy, and let's assign a on click function, and we're going to call this function, let's say copy address, and it will also have a class. So let's come out of that class and we'll call this style author box info address dash icon. Okay, so this is the name of the class we have to assign to this copy icon. Let's come down, we'll take a div, it will we'll take a paragraph and simply copy and paste here. So let's come down and we'll have a div, it will have a class called style dot author box info, and it will call social, and in that we're going to display the social media icon. So we'll take an anchor, and in that we're going to call the icon, so Facebook, copy paste 4 times and change the icon to, let's say, Instagram. This will become LinkedIn, this will become YouTube. These are the 4 icon we have. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's come down, we'll take another div, it will have a class called author box share, and in that we actually going to take this button. Okay, we have to send the props button name, so we'll call this follow, and it will have a handle click function. So currently we're going to send empty function. Okay, now let's come down, we're going to say md cloud upload, and we'll call it, it will have an on click function. We'll take the icon, it will have an on click function, and we'll call it open share. It will have the class called, let's say, author box share, and it will call icon. Okay, that's the cloud upload, and we'll come down, we'll take this dynamic block and we'll say that share, and if its share is true, then we want to display this component. Okay, so we'll take a div, it will now inside the div, let's assign a class, we'll call author box dash share, and we'll call it upload. In that we will have this paragraph, and here we're going to take a span. In that we're going to display the icon, so the icon we want to display is the Facebook. Here we're going to, let's say, we're going to provide the space and we'll type Facebook. Okay, with name, simply copy that and replicate 4 times. Now we have to do the changes. This will become Instagram, and this becomes, let's say, LinkedIn, this becomes YouTube and YouTube. Okay, so that's the icon components we have. Dynamic component, come down and we'll have the icon bs 3 dots. Okay, it will have the on click functions, and we'll call the function to open report. Okay, and we have to create a class called style author box share icon, and here we have to take the dynamic block, we'll say report. If it's true, then we want to display this dynamic block, so we'll take this p tag, and that we're going to assign a class first, and it will have the class called author box share, and let's call it report. Okay, inside that p tag we're going to take a span and we'll have this outline report icon. Okay, so this is the icon we want to display, and then we want to display this message report abuse, sorry. And here we're going to provide the space. Okay, so let's save it, and if we come back to the application, and here you can see we have some problem. So it says that invalid. Okay, come reload the browser, and still we having the same problem. Okay, we have some problem here in the code. So let's come back here and let's try to find out what mistakes we are making. So the function we have to create. Okay, let's create the function first. Okay, copy function. Okay, we'll take this copy address, and it's gonna be an arrow function const copy text, and we'll target that id. Okay, get element by id my input. Okay, that's what we want to target here. Now here we have that. We'll copy the text and we'll click this call this select functions. Okay, and now once we have that, we can use the navigator dot clipboard and write text, and we want to pass this copy text and value. Okay, so in this way we can easily able to copy the text. Okay, so it's this function is ready. Okay, now let's come down, let's create the other function. So we'll call it open share. It's going to be an arrow functions, and we'll say if share is true, then we want to set to false, set to true. If it's false, then we want to set to true, and set the report to false. Else we want to set the share to false, and that's it. Okay, so that's the one, and simply copy and paste, and we have to simply change this to open report, and we have to set this to set report, and we have to change this to share. Okay, that's the change we have to do. So let's come down here and let's have a look one more time. Let's come here, reload the browser, and still we having the same problem. Okay, we are importing something wrong. Okay, something's wrong in the import. So here you can see here I have the problem. It's not b s 3 dots, it's not b, it's d. Okay, so change this to d, simply copy that, and let's scroll down all the way, and here you can see here we have to pass the right spelling. I was wondering that what's went wrong in the code, and I found that I made this silly typo, and it took me half an hour to find this one. So it's a part of development. Okay, so when you come across this kind of situation, don't get frustrated. Okay, so let me correct this spelling, and now save it, and let's come back to the application, and here you can see everything's working fine. So here we have all the data, we have the image name, and here we can simply copy and simply paste here. You can see the function we have written, that's also working fine. So things are looking pretty good. Okay, so that's, and this is how we're going to design it. So everything's looking fine. Now let's make it side by side so you guys can see what styling we are doing. Okay, that's how it's look. Now let's close this one and go to the CSS file and simply open that. Come here and go to this file and simply copy the class. Okay, the main class. Come back to the CSS and let's start working. So we'll say width is going to be 100%, Z index is going to be something high, and margin top is going to be 5 RAM. We'll target the box and we'll say width is going to be 80%, margin 0 auto, display is going to be grid template column 1FR and 4FR and 1.3FR, align item center, background color var, and it is the main color. Padding is going to be 2.5 RAM and 2 RAM. Border radius is going to be 1 RAM. Gap is going to be 3 RAM. That's look how. Okay, that's how it look. We'll target the image and we'll say border radius is going to be 1 RAM. Let's come down, let's add the media query so we can see what we are actually working on. Okay, so we'll take the max width, it's going to be 35 EM, and we're going to target the box and we'll say 90% width, and grid template column is going to be 1FR, and that's how it will look. Now padding, make it 2.5 and 0.5 and 1.5 RAM. That looks good. We'll have a gap to 1 RAM. Okay, now we can start working on the CSS. Okay, so let's come down, we'll target the box info h4, and font size is going to be 2.5 RAM, and left line height is going to be 0, Margin top is going to be minus 0.5 RAM, and actually I have noticed that it's not H4 H2. Let's come down, we'll target that author box info address, and we'll have the margin top is going to be minus 1 RAM. We'll target that info address, and let's assign input. Okay, we'll say outline is going to be none, width is going to be 35%, font size is going to be 1 RAM, and border is going to be none. Background color is going to be transparent, so that's working fine. Let's come down, we'll target the box info address icon, and we want to make it all 0.3 second easy in. Well, info address icon on over effect, we want to simply box shadow is going to be our custom box shadow, and cursor is going to be a pointer, color is going to be a var or icon color. Okay, that's look good, things are looking really good. Okay, you can see the copy button is also working fine. Let's come down, we'll simply target the box info p, and we'll say font size is going to be 1.1 RAM, line height is going to be 1, width is going to be 90%. Author profile card box info social, we'll say display is going to be flex, a line item center, gap is going to be 1 RAM, font size is going to be 1.5 RAM. That's how it will look. Let's come down, we'll tag box info social a, and background color is going to be icon, and color is going to be our main color. Border radius 50%, display is going to be grid, padding is going to be 0.5 RAM, and border 1 pixel solid var, and our icon color. Okay, we have the icon color. Now transition all easy, 3 second easy in. Okay, well, cursor pointer box info social a, on over effect we want to do something. So background shadow is going, box shadow is going to be custom box shadow, and background color is going to be our main color, and border is going to be 1 pixel solid, and it will have the icon color. We have the color itself is going to be the icon color. Okay, it's looking perfect, you can see on over effect. Let's come down, we'll target the author card box share, and it will have the display flex. Okay, align item center, align self is going to be flex start, let's make it start. Okay, gap is going to be 2 RAM, and position is going to be relative, so that's how it will look. Okay, let's come down, we'll have the box and share icon, we want to increase the font size to 2.5 RAM, and cursor is going to be a pointer. Well, it's definitely come down, so that's how it will look. You can see on the click event we can easily able to open the dynamic block. Okay, so we'll target that author box social upload, and we say position is going to be absolute, padding is going to be 0.5 RAM, width is going to be, let's say, 15 RAM, border box shadow is going to be, let's say, our custom box shadow, and it will have the border radius to 1 RAM, and it will have the background color to our main color, and left is going to be 2 RAM, top is going to be 5 RAM, and set index something high number. So that's how it will look. You can see it's looking really good, so things are looking good. Now let's come down, we have to target that box share upload p, and it will have the display flex, a line item center, and line height is going to be 0, gap is going to be 1 RAM, and cursor is going to be a pointer, transition all 0.3 second easy in, padding is going to be 0.3 RAM and 0.5 RAM. Simply copy that and come paste here. We'll tag on over effect, we want to make it background color to our icon color, and color itself is going to be the main color. Okay, and border it is going to be 0.2 RAM. So that's how it will look. Nice over effect we are getting. Let's come down, we'll target the upload span, and we'll say font size 1.5 RAM. Let's come down, we'll target the author box share report, and we'll say position is going to be absolute. So you can see that's is there, but you can't see that. Okay, so we'll say padding is going to be 0.5 RAM, width is going to be 10 RAM, box shadow is going to be our box shadow color. Border area is going to be 1 ram, and background color is going to be our main color. Left is going to be 5 ram, and top is going to be 4 ram. Z index something big number, so that's how it will look. Pretty good. You can see. Okay, the function is not working. So let's come here and let's have a look. So here is the problem we have. Instead of share, we have to remove this to report, and now the function will work. Save it and let's click it. You can see we can have this one and it's working fine. Let's come back here. We'll tag the box share report p, and display is going to be flex. Align item center, gap is going to be 2 ram. That looks pretty cool. So you can see that's looking really good. It's perfectly aligned. Now let's come up here, and here we need to provide the box shadow. Okay, so let's type box shadow and we will have the shadow. You can see now it's looking perfect. We're having this nice background shadows. Okay, we can copy the text, we can open this dynamic blocks. This button is also working fine. Nice over effect we are getting here. Okay, that's looking fine. Let's come here and let's start working on the media query. So we're going to target the author box image, and we'll say width is going to be 50%. Okay, we'll simply bring it down. We'll target the box info h2, and we'll say font size is going to be 2 ram, so a little smaller. And we'll target the info address input width is going to be, let's say, 85%. So we'll have some space. You can see the icon and space apart, so it's looking perfect. And I don't know why I'm having this problem in my Chrome browser. When I'm making to the mobile screen, I'm getting this blank screen, but I'm coming on the desktop, it's looking fine. Okay, so make sure you have a look on the code along with the responsiveness. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm opening this in my other browser, and that's how it's looking. Okay, you can see it's looking perfect. Let's come down. We'll target the box info p, and font size is going to be 1 ram, and line height is going to be 1.4. Width is going to be 90%. Target the box info social. We'll target the padding 0 to ram, and that's look good. Let's leave it like this. Let's come down. We'll target the box share, and we'll say grid column -1, grid row -1, so that will come on top. Okay, look perfect. And here we have to assign the padding, so it will have 1 ram, and we'll say gap is going to be 1 ram, so it will have some space. Let's come down. We'll target the box share icon font size is going to be 2 ram. Let's come down, box share report, and this will have the left is going to be 9 ram. Okay, it's still there. Simply come up on top, and we have to target the upload, and we'll say left is going to be 9 ram. So let's test. Okay, it's moving, it's working fine. Now we have to change the value to, okay, not this one, we have to change the upper one, upload 18. Okay, too much, make it 15. Okay, now it's looking good. So let's come here and simply check whether we have any spelling mistake. No, so this looks fine. Copy that class, and it still look like that. So let's come here and let's make the difference here, make it 9. Okay, now it's looking good, 19. Okay, and that's looking perfect. So things are looking really good. Okay, so everything is perfectly aligned. Now let's come down. Let's take a second media query. Min device width is going to be 768 pixels, and the max device width is going to be, let's say, 1024 pixels. And that we're going to target the box, and we'll say get template column 1fr and 2fr. Gap is going to be 1 ram. So you can see now it is working on my Chrome. Okay, so this is how it will look on a mobile device, looking absolutely fine. You can see this one is fine, this one is be fine, this one is looking good. Okay, this is the problem we have here. Now we have to fix this value and make it 9 and 9 now. Okay, still again we are facing this problem. As you can see, the second breakpoint is also working fine and it's looking perfect. Okay, that's look good. Okay, that's looking good, and the mobile is not displaying, but it's working fine. You can see everything's working fine, and the value I've set 99 is perfect because earlier it was working and I tested that and I find that it was perfectly aligned in the middle. Okay, so make sure to go with that value, or you can do the testing, whichever finds suitable for you, you can go with that. So things are looking pretty good. So let's come here and simply save all this and close this one. So finally we are done with this component. Okay, let's come here, close this one, and let's come to this author page. Okay, and here we have built this author profile card component. Now we have to build the other component. So let's come here and let's go to this follower tab. Okay, so this is the component we need, follower tab card, not the main folder, but we need the second folder, and that's what we're going to import here. Okay, so let's come here, we're going to import that follower tab card, and that's coming from the follower tab card. Okay, so here we have that component. Now the component we're going to call it here. So before we call that component, we're going to call this author tab component. Okay, that the component we have already built, and in that we're going to send all these props. So let's send those props, send this one as well, copy and send that, copy this one, send it, and do this for the following as well. So all these props will receive in author tabs. Okay, and this will allow us to open the tab and close the tab. Okay, so that's why we are sending the tab, sending the props. So here we have the title. Now we can come down, we can use the title component, and in this we're going to simply pass the heading. So we'll type popular creators, and here we're going to pass the description. So what we can do, come back to the original one and simply get from there. Okay, so this is what we are building. Okay, simply copy that and simply paste it. So that's the component we have here. Let's come down and we're going to target that brand component. Okay, so the component we're going to use, the brand, and let's save it, come back to the original one, and here we have the problem. So background is not defined. So where it's happening, so it's happening inside the follower tab card.jsx. Inside that is happening. So let's come here, we are not using that component. So let's reload the browser, reload that browser, and sometime it's happened. Okay, sometime you will have this problem, so make sure you restart the application or reload the browser. I haven't done anything, I just reload my browser and the error is gone. Okay, so here you can see we have the author tabs component, and this is the title, and this is the brand component. So things are looking pretty good. So let's come back to the code and come back to the, and here you can see that follower tab card component. Here we are receiving the props. Okay, so this is the props we're going to send in the follower tab card. Okay, so let's come here, and here we have the data. Come here, we're going to take this popular array and we're going to map over it, and inside that we're going to simply call this follower tab card and we'll assign a key, and we have to send this props, so element I. So this is the props we are sending. Let's reload the browser, and here you can see it's displaying, but somehow it's broken, it's not working perfectly. We're gonna fix it, but at least something is happening. Okay, so things are looking good, not a big deal. We're gonna fix this issue very shortly. Let's come here, and for the time being let's comment out this. Okay, let's start focusing on the author tab. Okay, let's come here. So this is what we're going to work on right now. So let's close this one and go to this author tab and let's start working on this. So we'll import couple of things from React use state, and we'll import the image, next image. We have to import the icon, so di allow shorted, let's call it down, and that's coming from React icons ti. And we have to import one more, this is the ti arrow shorted up. Okay, shorted up. So these are the two icons we are coming, and we want to take one more, this is going to be a tick, so tic tick. So these are the icons we have. Now we have to do the internal imports. So we have to import the CSS file that's coming from the same directory, and we have to receive the props. Okay, so come back to the author page, and here we have sending the props. Simply copy that and change this one. Okay, that's the props we have to change here, send here. Okay, simply copy this and receive the props here. So make sure you do the change. Okay, we want to send this function set collection. Okay, so make sure you do that, and now we can receive that function here, set and receive it here. So here we have all the props which we are sending. Now we'll come down and we're going to use this use state, and we'll call it open list false, and initially it will be false, and we'll take another use state, and this time we'll call it active button, and this would be, let's say, initially it would be 0, and we'll take another use state, and this will call selected menu. Okay, and this will be most recent. So these are the three use state we have taken. Now let's come down, we have to take this list, so we'll take the list of arrays, and we'll say created by admin. We'll take the most appreciated. We'll take another one, this will call most discussed, and the last one is going to be the most viewed. Okay, these are the list. Now let's start working on the JSX. So we'll have a div, it will have the class called style author tabs. Inside that we'll take another div, it will call author tabs dash box. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have the class called author tab box, and we call it, let's say, left. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have a class called author tab box left button, and that will have the button, and we'll have a on click function on this, and the function we're going to create is, let's call it open tab. Inside that we're going to pass this okay, event, and we're going to call it, let's say, collectibles. Okay, collectibles. Okay, simply let's assign a class to this as well, so we'll call it author tab box left, but this class is going to be dynamic. Okay, because we want to display the active state and non-active state. Okay, so that's why I'm taking this dynamic block, and we'll say active button. If that is equal to 1, then we want to display this class style dot active. Okay, otherwise none. Okay, so that's the normal style. Okay, so this will represent the active state. Now what we have to do is simply copy that button and change this to, and this will become the created. Close this one, replicate it, and this will become, let's say, liked. This will become 2, and come down, this will become 4, and this will become following. This will, on one more time, this will become 5, and this will become, let's say, followers. So these are the 5 buttons we have for the 5 tabs. Okay, now let's come down, we have to take a div, it will have a class called style author tab box right, and in that we're going to have a div, it will have the class called style author tab box right dash para. And that inside this div it will have a on click function as well, and we'll call the function open drop down. So this is the function we're going to create. Now inside that we're going to take this paragraph, and we'll have this data selected menu, and we have to display the dynamic block. Okay, so if open list, if open list is true, then we want to display this icon up, otherwise we want to display this down. So this is the icon. Okay, we have the icon. Now we'll take a dynamic block, okay, not a div, because we want to display the drop down menu. So we'll say open list, and if it's true, then we want to render this dynamic block. Okay, it will have the class called style author tab box, right, and it will call list. Inside that we'll have this list, and we have to map over it I, and it's instant return. And that we're going to take a div. It will have the class, so it will have the key, and it will have on click function on this. So the function we're going to call it, let's say select menu, and we want to pass this element, okay, the name, and it will have the class called author box, right, okay, and this will call list items. So let me repeat what we are doing here. We have an array, and we are looping over it, and we are printing that array, and on every element we have this function select menu, and which will update the state. Okay, that's what we are doing here. Now let's inside that we'll have this paragraph, and it will display the menu, and it will have the span, and here in this we're going to display the icon. Okay, so if selected menu icon equal to this, then we want to display this tick icon. Okay, so that's the simple logic. I hope you guys are getting familiar. Okay, this is the dynamic state, and now we have to create this function. So let's do that. So simply come here, and what function we have to create? So let's call it list. Okay, list. Now drop down list, and it's going to be an arrow function. If we say, let's say if open list is false, then we want to set it true. Okay, and else we want to set to false. That's the first function. Now let's come down. We have to create this one, select menu, and open menu, open tab, and we have to say that const btn text, and we are receiving e here, e dot target dot inner text. So if button text is equal to our collectibles, okay, then we want to set it true, the collectibles, and we want to set other component to false. Okay, simple logic, not complicated, easy to understand. Okay, so simply copy that, and we have to increase the button number as well, 1. So let's else if btn text equal to what we have next created, then we want to simply copy and paste here, and it's a e, this becomes false, and this becomes true, and this one is become true. Okay, else if button text equal to, let's say third one is liked, then we want to save, complete, paste, and we want to set to false, and this will become true, and this will become 3. Third one is going to be else button text equal to, what else we have, let's close this one, we have following, paste here, and simply copy and paste, and we have to change the state to false, this become true, and this become 4. Now the final one is else if button text equal to, what else we have, follower, copy and paste here, and do the same thing, change this true, and this become 5. Okay, so that's the open tab function, which allow us to switch between different tabs, different component, and it will also update the active state. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is the internal, this is the functions, close this one, close this functions, and this is the entire JSX, looking fine. Let's come here, and here we can find that we're having some issue, and maybe sometime you will have this issue because you haven't opened your browser for a long time. So in such case, all you have to do is to reload the browser. Okay, so handle unrun runner. Okay, simply reload the browser, and you will find that we have no problem. And now we can scroll down, and we can have a look. So here we have all the buttons, we have the most recent, and here we have the drop down. So if we click on this, we'll have the list of the dynamic block, and if we click on this, we are updating the state menu. Okay, you can see on click event we can easily able to change the state discussed. Okay, and when we are clicking on the button, we are having this error message because we haven't defined it. Okay, we are not using that, so that's why we are getting this error. Okay, let's reload the browser and let's click on one more time. You can see still we are having this problem because we are not doing anything. Okay, and it actually says that set collectible is not defined. Why it's saying that? So let's come back to the code and let's, so before we test that, let's style it first. Okay, then we'll fix this bug. Okay, so let's just bring side by side and let's style it first. Okay, so we'll come here and simply target copy this one, author tab, and paste here. Let's say width is going to be 100%, margin 8 ram, 0, 3 ram, and 0. Box is going to be, width is going to be 80%, margin 0 auto, display flex, justify content space between, author box left, btn, display is going to be flex, gap is going to be 2 ram, align item center, that's how it will look, author box left btn, button itself, border 1 pixels solid, and it will have our icon color, outline 0, background color will have our main color. Okay, font size is going to be 1.2 ram, border radius 2 ram, cursor pointer, transition all 0.3 second easy in, color is going to be our icon color. We'll target the box left button active state, and let's say border 1 pixel solid, our icon color, and background color is going to be our icon color, and color is going to be the main color. Okay, we'll come here, target the button itself, border 1 pixel solid where our icon color, background color is going to be where icon color, and we'll have the main color as a text color. So you can see looking perfect. Let's add this over effect on this. You can see on over effect we are getting this. Let's target the box right section, and we'll say position is going to be relative, author box right, para, border is going to be 1 pixel solid where icon color will have the border radius 2 ram, width is going to be 15.2 ram, and padding is going to be 0 and 2 ram, align item center, and gap is going to be 1 ram, cursor pointer and grad template column 9fr and 1fr. You can see it looks perfect. Let's work on this drop down button tab, sorry. So we'll target that para p, and we'll say font size is going to be 1.2 ram, line height is going to be 5.5, and right para list, and we're going to target the background color to our main color. Padding is going to be 1 ram, width is going to be 15 ram, and left is going to be -3 ram. Padding is going to be absolute, z index high number, and border is going to be 1 ram. Okay, margin top is going to be 1.5 ram, and box shadow is going to be our box shadow. So that's how it will look, looking perfect. Let's come down, add this right list item, and let's make it display is going to be flex, align item center, justify content space between, and line height is going to be 0. Padding is going to be, padding right is going to be 1 ram. So you can see now it's looking good. Right list item p, we're going to target the transition all 3 second easy in, padding is going to be 0 1 ram, and line height is going to be 1 ram, cursor pointer looking better. We'll target the box right list item. On over effect, we're going to change the background color to icon color. Color is going to be our main color, and border radius is going to be 0.2 ram. So you can see nice, we can easily able to change the state, and it's looking perfect. Okay, we have to do a little bit adjustment, but things are looking good. So let's come here, and here we are in the author tab box left btn, and here we have to say padding is going to be 0.5 ram and 1 ram. So if you come, you can see this buttons are looking fine. Now we have space. Okay, now we have to fix this one. Okay, so let's come here in this author box right para, we have to say display is going to be grid, and now you can see it's looking perfect. Okay, we have to do the adjustment in the width, but it's looking quite good. And here we're going to make it 17. Let it make it a little bigger, and okay, we have to make it a little higher, 5. And okay, that's look good. And let's come here and here make it 16 in the box right list. And if we come here, now you can see everything's working fine. Now we don't have this overflow, the tabs are also working fine. Let's come here. Now let's start writing the media query. Okay, so we'll say max width is going to be 35 em. We'll target the tab and margin 3 ram and 0 ram and 2 ram 3 ram, sorry, and 0 ram. So we'll target the box width is on 90%. Display is going to be grid template column 1FR, looking quite good. Let's come down, target the left button, and we'll say display is going to be grid template column repeat to 1FR. That's how it will look. And gap is going to be 1 ram, and box shadow will have the box shadow, and padding is going to be 0.5 ram, and border radius is going to be 1 ram, and padding to 1 ram and 1 ram. Okay, so this looks pretty good. You can see this looks really good. Let's come down, we'll target that box right, and width is going to be, let's say, not a width, we'll tap the margin top is going to be 2 ram. Right para width is going to be 100%. Okay, you can see now line clicking taking the full space. We'll target the right list, and left is going to be 4 ram. So you can see now we have some space from the left hand side, and things are looking good on mobile device as well. Let's take a second media query, and this will become min device width and 768 pixels, and max device width is going to be, let's say, 1024 pixels. And remove that, we'll target the box width is going to be 90%, and display is going to be grid template column 1FR, and gap is going to be 2 ram. Okay, active box right list, and left is going to be 7 ram. So things looking good. You can see it's looking absolutely perfect. We have these buttons, but we don't have this function, that's why we're getting this error. Okay, so things are looking good. Let's reload the browser, and we have this drop down. We can easily able to change the text. Let's do the inspect element, and I have this problem, so I can see that. Let's zoom a bit, and here it's working fine. You can see this one is looking good, and this is also working fine, and this is here we have to do a little bit touch up. Okay, and these components are looking really great. Okay, so let's come back to the code, and what we can do here, let's come here and simply copy this 100%, and simply copy that and paste here and save it, and now it will take the full width. Okay, so things are looking good, really good. We have this over effect ftx state, so it's working fine. Let's come back and let's make on a full screen, and now we have to work on the tab. So simply close here and come back, close this one, and here we are in author.js page, and let's have a look what's the problem we have. So here we have this component popular array. Let's uncomment this one, remove this actually, and let's come here, and here let's come here and create one more folder in the author page, and this will come AuthorNFRCard box. Okay, let's create the JSX file, and we have to create the CSS file as well. Let's create RFC, and this is going to be the controlling point of the entire tab component. Okay, so in this we're going to do the internal import. We have to import the CSS file, and that's coming from the same directory. And in this, what I want in this, we're going to do a couple of more imports. So let's do that. Images. Okay, we have the images. Let's import the NFT card 2. Okay, this is the component which is coming from collection page. Okay, and here we're going to import the component like import, and we want to import the follower tab card. Okay, so this is the component we're going to import here, and that's coming from the follower tab. Okay, so these are the, so that's coming from this component, and here we have the follower tab, and this is the component we are importing here. Okay, so make sure you do that. So that's what we have here. So that's the concept. We'll close this one and close this one, and here we're going to make the things happen. Okay, so let's import the use state, imports from React to use state, and we're going to receive the props. So simply copy that, and here before we do that we have to export this component. So let's import this here and card box, and that's coming from the same directory, and we have to copy that and simply export it. So in that way we can easily able to simply close this one, and here we in the author.js we're going to receive that component. Okay, simply receive it, and now what we can do, simply copy that component and simply remove this because we don't need this tab card. Okay, copy that, and that's what we're going to call it right here. Okay, right, calling the component, and in this we're going to send the props. Okay, so you can see right now here we are displaying this NFT card box. It's working fine, things are looking good. Now we have to come here, and this is what we have here. Now we have to send the props. So let's come here, we have to copy that and simply set that. Do the same thing for others. Created, like, followers, and the final one is following. So we are getting this props. Now we have to receive that prop. Simply copy that and call all the props here. Created, and this becomes like, this becomes follower, and the final one is following. Paste here. So these are the props we are receiving here. We'll come down, and here what we're going to do, we're going to remove this, and we'll take a instant return. We'll have a div, and it will have a class called style dot, and we'll call AuthorNFRCard box. Okay, in that we're going to take this dynamic block. Okay, we're going to take all the components which we want to display. Okay, so we'll say that we'll take this collectibles. If it's true, then we want to display this component. Okay, we have the component, so NFT card 2. Okay, this is the component we want to display if collectibles is true. So simply replicate this couple of times, 5 times, because 5 components we are displaying. And let's change this to created, this becomes like, and this becomes follower, and this becomes following. Okay, at a time only one component would be visible. Simply copy this follower tab component, and that's what we're going to pass it here, because in the follower component section we want to display the follower details. Okay, so let's pass that, copy that, and simply pass it here. So in this way we can easily have all the component. Okay, looking good. Now what's the problem we have here? So map is not defined. Actually we don't have the data, so we have to send the props. Okay, because each of these component needs data to render on the front end. Okay, so we have to send those data. Okay, so let's come here, and here we're going to take our demo data. Let's come down, we'll call it const, we'll call it collectibles array, and it's gonna be an array. In that we have to take this images, NFT1, NFT2, NFT3, and simply copy and replicate it 3 times and remove last one. Okay, so that's the collectibles array. Now let's do the same thing from others, created array, and we'll simply change this, we'll have the same array, remove a couple of array from here, and let's take the third one, which is a like array. We'll paste that and we're going to remove it couple of, so this time we'll have 5. Close this one, and the follower is going to be different. Okay, so in that we're not going to have this, we're going to take the images user, and this become user 10, user 2, user 3, user 5. So these are the 5 array we have, and the last one is user 4. Okay, let's close this one, take the following array, so it becomes following array, and we're going to call the users 1, replicate it and change the data 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the final one is 8. So here we have the details about the followers. Okay, and that's what we're going to pass it here. So here in the NFT card 2 component, we have to receive the props in the name of NFT data. Okay, so simply copy this, come back here, and here we're going to pass that simply, and in that we're going to pass this collectibles array. Nothing is alien to you. Okay, you guys are familiar with the structure which we are following. Okay, so simply copy that and simply paste here, paste here, and paste here, and paste here. So we are sending the props. Now change the name, so this create, this becomes like, this becomes follower, this becomes following array. Okay, save it, come back to the applications, and here you can see that collectibles component is true. That's why we can easily able to have a look, we can easily able to render all this data. Okay, it's looking absolutely perfect. But if we're clicking on the component, on the buttons, we are getting this error message. So still we are having this problem. We having this one, and it says that set collectible is not defined. Right, so we are receiving the prop. Let's come back, reload the page one more time, and let's call the function. Still we have the same problem, and so things are looking good, everything's working fine. So let's come back to the code, and let's come here, let's make it this, it's a 0, make sure you should make it 1. So if you make it 1, let's come back to the, and here you can see the tab, collectible tab is active, so we can able to have this background color. Okay, active color, so looking good. But if we are clicking on other buttons, we are getting this error. We gotta fix this problem. Okay, so things are looking good. Now let console log out the text, that whether the function, open tab function, is working or not. So let's do the console, and let's simply close all this one if statement and comment out this for mine being to find out the problem. Okay, so let's do the inspect element, and let's come back to the buttons, and let's bring the terminal up and console, and let's have a look. Create it, so it's working fine. Collectibles, like, following, popular, followers, following. So these buttons are working fine, but what's the problem? Let's come here, so bring back. Okay, now simply check the text, that the text we have written, it's right or wrong. Let's do the create. Okay, it's right. Let's do the for the like, following, and the final one is followers. So everything's fine. Now simply remove this. Okay, select all this and remove that once. Still we are having the same problem. Still set collectibles is not defined. Okay, why? Let's come here, and here we are receiving that set collectibles, but when we are sending the props, okay, but here's the problem, we are not sending that set collectible. Okay, so that's the problem. We have simply copy and change this one, do the same to all this, and now it's looking good. Save it, and here we are receiving the props. Now we can come here, now it will work. So let's bring the terminal. You can see we can easily able to switch, and the problem we have in the followers, it says background is undefined, but the other tab is working fine. So let's come here, let's click here. You can see the data is changed, it's working fine. And when we are clicking on created, like is also getting activated. Why? So let's come here, so let's have a look. So this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Let's come here. Okay, here is the problem. We have to remove this to make it 3. Okay, now you can see if we click on this, we can easily able to switch to different components, and here we have the problem in the follower tab card component. Background is not defined, so we're gonna fix that. Okay, so let's come here, and here let's click on this and come back to the component. Here we are receiving that element and an element. Okay, so we are receiving these two, and here we are rendering the receiving these two. Let's come here, but here what we are doing here, we are sending the entire data, but we want to send the element. Okay, so what we can do here, so here first thing we have to do is to do the changes in the data. Okay, so we want to display the background and the user images. So this is not the data we're going to take. We're going to take an object and we'll have a background. Here we'll have the image of the background, and simply remove this one, and in this we're going to have the image of the user. So image dot user1, simply replicate couple of times, because this is the data we're going to display. Change this to this become 3 3, this become 4 4, this become 5 5, and this becomes 6 6. Okay, so simply copy this entire data and close this one, and do the same thing from here. And here we're going to just reshuffling it. Okay, bring it up and then move our last one. Okay, and simply here we're going to take this dynamic block. Okay, and simply cut this and put inside this. Okay, close this one. Okay, so what I did, I simply removed that follower component from here. Okay, and because I was getting constant error, so let me show you how we can fix this problem. So we're going to take a dynamic data. Okay, dynamic block, and we're going to call this follower. Okay, if follower is true, then we want to render this component. Okay, so we'll have a div, and that inside the div we're going to have this follower array, and we're going to loop over it. Okay, and this is the data we're going to pass it inside the follower tab component. So we'll pass the index I, and we'll pass the element. In this way we can easily able to render the data. Okay, and simply copy that and do the same thing from here. Simply copy that and paste here, and simply copy this following, and we have to replace this with following. So this is how we can send the props, because our follower tab component need not the entire data. We need the data which is getting loop, and that data we want to send inside this follower tab component. Okay, so this is the trick which we can use. So coding is all about problem solving. Okay, so this is the way I found to solve this problem. Okay, there are many ways to fix this problem. Okay, so things are looking good. Let's close this one, and let's come here, and here we are receiving that, and here simply are rendering. Simply come here, and now we can simply click switch between the components. When we click on the following tabs, the data is displaying, but it's not in the perfect order. Okay, so the data is working. Okay, the dynamic block is working, we can able to switch, but the design is not good. We have to fix that. Okay, things are looking good. Okay, let's come back to the code, and here we're going to do one thing. So we will assign a class to this div. We'll say class style dash box card box. Okay, simply copy that and assign the same class to this div as well. And now we have to add the CSS styling. So let's come here and go to this empty card box, and here we're going to target that. We'll say width is going to be 100%, and we'll target the box, and we'll say, let's say width is going to be 80%, margin 0 auto, display is going to be grid, and grid template column 4, repeat 4 1FR. Okay, and we'll assign a gap to, let's say, 2 RAM. Save it, and here you can see things are working fine, but the user image is broken. We have to see what's the problem in that, but things are looking good. Right now it's look much better. We can switch, and things are looking perfect. Okay, it's looking perfect. Okay, let's come here. We have to assign the margin from the bottom side, and let's make it to, let's say, 14. Okay, we'll have some space from the bottom. Things are looking pretty good. Now let's come here and let's have a look. Come back to the follower tab and follower tab card, and we have to look that why the user image is not displaying. So let's come here we are receiving the data, and the background image is working fine, but here we have the user image, so we are passing that element.user. So it's a user, but we have passed image. Okay, so simply copy that and we'll come here and where we are passing the data, and here we have to do the change. Instead of image we have to say user. Change this all. Okay, now do the same thing from the upper one, and user, 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 and user. Save it, come back to the application, and here you can see it's working fine. We have the data, we have the component. Things are looking pretty good. We can easily able to switch to different components, and this data is entirely dynamic. Okay, so we can follow, unfollow. Okay, looking perfect. Now this one is also working fine. Okay, we have to fix this problem, so let's reload that. Still we have this problem. Okay, so we can fix that, not a big deal. So let's come here and close all this one. Let's go to this is the where we have that, we have the tab, and go to the tab CSS file, and here we have the list. Go to the CSS one, and simply what we can do, this is the one. In this we're going to provide z index something high number. Okay, so it will come on top of that. Okay, now it's looking much better. Remove this one. Okay, looking good. Let's come here and close this one. Let's come here and follow tab. So we have to call this follow tab as well. Simply copy that, and simply we're going to paste it here, and let's reload the browser, and we don't have the data, so let's come here, and here we have the data. Okay, so this is not the data we need, so let's come here, author, we'll go to this card, and this is the data we need. Simply copy that and come back here and simply replace this one, and that's the data we have to send. Simply copy that, and we're going to follow the same structure. We're going to take a, let's say we'll take a div, and we'll have the class, we'll call it, let's say, style dot author, and here we are calling banner. Okay, I don't know why I have called banner, so let's come here and simply we're going to call this author box. Okay, so make sure you do the change on the top as well, and we'll have this, we'll have the data, we'll loop over it element, and it's gonna be instant return, and in this we're going to call this component, and we'll send the props. So we'll send the I, and we'll send the element itself. So that would work perfectly, and you can see, reload the browser, and let's scroll down, and here you can see the component is displaying, but we have to fix the order. Okay, not a big deal. Things looks are good. Now let's go to the authors model, CSS file, and make sure you do the change. So make it author. Okay, copy that and simply copy, come here and simply target that box, and we'll say width is going to be 80%, margin 0, auto, display is going to be grid, and grid template column repeat for 1FR, and gap is going to be, let's say, 2 RAM. Save it and come back, and here this looks perfect. Okay, things are looking good. Okay, but we need to provide some space from the top. So let's say margin top is going to be 4 RAM. Let's make it to 6. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this component is also looking perfect, and you can see that how easy it can become, because we have spent a lot of time building this component, and now we are using it. Okay, all the functions are working. We can click, unclick, follow, unfollow, and this is the brand component. So let's look good. So let's check here. Just simply delete this, okay, and come back to the home page, okay, to check final times. So here we are on home page. Things are looking good. Let's come here on top. Okay, let's bring it up. Let's click here, click on the collection, search collection page. Okay, so here you can see we are on the collection page. We can easily able to navigate to the different pages. Let's have a look. Things are looking good on this page as well. No problem we have. Okay, so make sure you should always check, because sometimes when you do the refactoring and use the same component, you make some certain mistakes. So it's always good to check the component in other pages as well. So this looks fine. Okay, this looks fine. Now let's come here, simply remove that, or let's come here and click on this author profile, and here we have, actually we don't have this page, author profile. Okay, let's come here and we have to do the changes in our navigation bar. Okay, so let's open that component and we have to go to the nav bar. In that nav bar we have this discovery component, and that we have this array. So simply open that array, and here we have to do the changes. So instead of author profile, we're going to remove to only author. Okay, let's bring it back and remove this and have author. Okay, save it, reload the browser. Okay, my bad, I have to remove this profile and hit enter. And now it's working fine. You can see things are looking good. We can easily able to switch to different pages. Okay, this is the first card component. Okay, this is the user. We can copy the address, short descriptions, this follower, dynamic block for the following, the report. Okay, that's looking fine. Here we have the tab. You can see the state it's changing. We have this component. We can switch to different components, follower, following. Okay, things are looking good, but we have to make it responsive. It's not responsive for the mobile device. It's looking perfect on the desktop, but we have to make it responsive. So let's have a look and check everything's working fine. So okay, things are looking good. We have no issues in this. This is the popular creator section, that's also looking fine. And this is the branding sections. Okay, and this is what we're going to build in the next video. Okay, this is the search page which we're going to build in the next video. Okay, so let's see, this is what we're going to build. Let's come back to this and let's have a responsive. You can see this is the problem we have to fix it. Okay, it's not responsive for the mobile device. Okay, that's the problem we have. We're gonna fix that. So okay, it's overflowing. So let's close this one, and here we are in the author modules, and here we have to write the media query. So we'll target the and it will say, well, say let's say max width is going to be around 35 em. Okay, we'll target the author box and we'll say width is going to be 90%, and grid template column is going to be repeat 1FR. Save it and let's reload the browser. Okay, that's what we have here. Let's reload the browser, and here I have this problem. I don't know why it's not displaying on a mobile device, but just make it side by side, and here you can see it's working fine. Okay, so the media query is working fine. This is also fine, and we have one in a row in our mobile phone. Okay, so that's looking fine, and this is also working fine, but we have to fix this follower tab. Okay, this follower tabs we have to fix this one. So for that, what we can do, simply close this one and close this one, and we have that inside this author page we have to go into this card. Okay, and in this we have to write the media query. So we'll target that, and this will become max with 35 em. We'll say width is going to be 90%, and grid template column repeat 1FR. Save it, and you can see the changes. It's looking fine. Okay, things are looking good. We have to do the inspect element, and now it's looking fine. You can see everything's perfectly aligned. So this looks good. On a mobile device, you can see 100% responsive. We can easily able to have this over effect. We can switch to different tabs like component, and things are looking good. The image is taking a little bit time to load because these images are heavy, and we're going to optimize that as well. Okay, so you can see these breakpoint, and this is not look good. We have to add the second breakpoint here. So it's going to be between 768 to 1000 something. Okay, from here, so we'll take the second breakpoint, and we'll take min device width is going to be, we'll start from 768 pixels, and it will go max device width will go to all the way to, let's say, 1024 pixels. Okay, so in this we're going to target the box, and we'll say width is going to be 90%, and grid template column repeat to 1FR. Okay, so we want to display two components. So you can see it's working fine. Things are looking better. Simply copy this entire CSS and close this one, and come here and go to this, let's say, where is it, author. Okay, here in the author modules, and here we're going to simply copy that and paste it, save it, and here you can see it's looking fine here as well. So things are looking absolutely great. Let's have a look. 100% responsive. We can easily able to switch to different tabs. Amazing. Okay, let's come here, let's have a final look. So this is what we have. We can easily able to switch to different tabs. Okay, we have this follow, unfollow, and come back here, close this one, and close this component, close this one, and now let me upload the code to GitHub. Okay, so you guys can get it. Okay, simply delete this one, delete it permanently, and make it full screen. Open up the terminal, stop the application, type git in it. So you guys know the drill, so let me do it very quickly. Author page, and we have to run this command. Paste here, hit enter. So here we have loaded the data, clear the terminal, and simply reload the browser. Here you can see we have the page, and so finally we have completed this entire author page, and I found really fascinating because it's amazing and it's beautiful. So make sure, if you're new to my channel, hit like and subscribe. That will motivate me to come up with this video, with this project. And if you have any suggestion, if you have any problem with the code, do leave in the comment section. Do give your submission. I would love to have your comments. I would love to have your suggestion, which we can include in this application. And the code is already provided to you in my website. Simply visit to the articles, get it from there. There I have defined all the codes in a section wise, so you can easily able to navigate and get it code. So in the next video we're going to build the search page. Okay, so let's move to that.